Yo, listen up, everybody. Welcome back to the #1 television show in the history of the galaxy and other galaxies far, far away that existed maybe a long, long time ago. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I am going to be reviewing Allegiance, a Star Wars Legends novel by Timothy Zahn. So, let's get into it. This is I've stepped away now. I'm about halfway through reading and reviewing the I think it's the new Jedi Order series. I think I'm halfway through that, but I thought I'd take a break from that a little bit and get into some other Star Wars Legends novels. And so I decided to go here and this one, let's talk about the cover first. Well, let's talk about Timothy Zahn first. I know Timothy Zahn. I've sat on a lot of writing panels with him at different Comic-Cons, and I've sat next to him and signed books for fans, and he's, of course, signed many of his novels to me, so I always show off my signed books. Anyway, so let's talk about the cover next. The cover is great. I like the old Star Wars Legends novel covers. They do a pretty good job. This is an illustration by an illustrator named John Van Fleet. It's pretty cool. I like it. It goes around. It's got a nice little illustration of probably Mara Jade on the back. A young 18-year-old Mara Jade, and then the stormtroopers. So, what's Allegiance about? Well, it comes right after, in chronological order, in the Star Wars universe, or at least the Star Wars Legends universe, which, let's face it, that is the real Star Wars universe. I don't know what Disney's doing, but this is the real Star Wars universe, in my book. That aside, let's set that aside. This comes right after A New Hope, Star Wars A New Hope. So right after Luke Skywalker blows up the Death Star for the first time. This is where it is. This falls right after it. So it takes place right then. Luke and Leia. Now, I do have, like, Star Wars Legends books are my guilty pleasure book. Just so you don't think I'm making this up, I do have most of them right there. That is my Star Wars Legends collection of books. I do like them quite a bit, and we will be reading and reviewing all of them for this television show that we're doing here. Takes place right after A New Hope. Now, I'm a little skeptical. I kind of... So these novels that are in the Legends universe that take place in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, or an Empire Strikes Back and the Return of the Jedi, I'm a little skeptical of them. I don't know if they're my favorite thing in the Legends universe, to be honest with you. I kind of like the stuff that comes before A New Hope and the stuff that comes after Return of the Jedi. I don't know why, especially the stuff that comes after Return of the Jedi. I'm into all of that, really, a lot. Some of these little stories that take place in between the movies, honestly, I don't know if I really needed them or wanted them to be written or anything like that. That being said, they're written, they're out there, and I've read them. This is about right after The New Hope. You know, Luke, Leia, Han, they are sent to mediate a dispute between the Rebel Alliance factions in the Shelsha system. I think that's the Shelsha system. So they're sent off to do some political stuff, which are all real exciting. You know what I'm saying? And then in the meantime, we've got Mara Jade, who is 18. And we know Mara Jade in later books, after Return of the Jedi, becomes one of our heroes' main nemesises, especially Luke Skywalker's main nemesis for a while. And I won't spoil things to tell you how that storyline ends up. There's 37 some odd books that get into all of that. But so this is kind of our introduction to Mara Jade a little bit. And so she's serving Emperor Palpatine and all of his dastardly deeds. And then another so we got our main characters, Han, Luke, Leia. We've got Mara Jade, who's a main character. Then we've got this other stormtrooper guy named LaRoque, who commits an act of, I'd say, violence, a violent act of defiance against the people he works for. So he's kind of a rebel against the Empire, but he's a stormtrooper. And he kind of goes rogue at this point. He's sort of disappointed in the Empire for blowing up Alderaan, because he's like, Alderaan was a nice, peaceful planet, and why did we blow it up? And so now he's skeptical about the Empire and what their motives are, but he's a stormtrooper, so he goes rogue. I'm thinking, because this book came out in 2005 or something. Let me see. 2007. So this book came out before The Force Awakens with Finn. Now, Finn was a rogue stormtrooper, but clearly LaRoque was a rogue stormtrooper way before Finn was. And maybe Finn was based off of this LaRoque. I don't know, but I kind of liked LaRoque a little better than Finn. Although in Force Awakens, Finn was cool. Anyway, we won't get into my opinions on that. But anyway, long story short, there's adventures, things are happening. I'll just read the back of it so you can get a good idea of what's going on. The destruction of the Death Star by the Rebel Alliance was a decisive blow against the Empire, but Palpatine and his monstrous enforcer Darth Vader are no less of a threat. Among those standing against them are Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia Organa. The three have been sent to mediate a dispute between Rebel Alliance factions on Shelsha sector. At the same time, Mara Jade, all of 18 years old, is still years away from her fateful meeting with Luke. She is serving her evil master Palpatine, tracking suspected treachery in there. I shouldn't even read this. Can't read for shit. And then a once loyal Imperial stormtrooper, Larone. Oh, I said LaRoque. It's Larone. Man. Commits a sudden act of violent defiance. Each of these actions. Anyway, I just told you all that. The back didn't tell you anything else. It's a grand outer space adventure. I actually liked the bits and pieces, and they were few and far between, that had our main characters, Han, Luke, and Leia. I like that storyline way better than, although Larone was okay. It was all right. Mara Jade was all right. Honestly, this is one of my least favorite Star Wars Legends books that I've read. And I love them all. This one, and I think it's because, like I said at the beginning, I like pre-A New Hope books, and I like post-Jedi books. There's a handful that fall in between, and I just don't like them that much as the others. So I'm going to give this about a 6 out of 10. So, probably, I think a lot of people love it. I mean, Timothy Zahn is one of the better Star Wars writers out there. So this is probably a lot more popular than I'm giving it credit for, and a lot more beloved. Although I did like it and read it, and I'm glad that I did, and I'm glad that I have it, and I'm glad that I have a signed copy. It's going to look very, very, very spiffy on my shelf.